All right, recording started. Hi, everyone. I have now with me the CMO of StoreHub, Xin-Ci, to do a keynote with us on how your retail or F&B businesses can survive during the COVID-19 MCO. Thank you all for coming back. Xin-Ci, why not say hi to everyone and introduce yourself quickly?
Hi guys, I'm Xin-Ci. I'm the head of marketing here at StoreHub. StoreHub is an omni-channel platform for retail and F&B businesses. We help digitize and help them go online. I'm here in the comfort of my home, sitting on the floor, thanks to a MCO. Sorry, so there's like a plot point behind me. So if at any point in time I accidentally shift my position or whatever, sorry, not the most ideal setup for a webinar.
StoreHub, can you quickly give us an introduction shot? What StoreHub's doing? You guys recently raised quite a lot of money on your Series A+, isn't it?
Not that much. I mean, comparatively to quite a number of people, definitely not. We recently announced the Series A+ raise right before all of this happened, and we also opened a new office. We moved to a new office in February. But of course, we cannot enjoy a new office now. But in the last couple of weeks since MCO started, StoreHub actually rolled out a food delivery service feature on our platform to enable a lot of SMEs, food businesses to go online and offer food delivery really, really quick. And I think I'll be sharing a little bit about that later if you guys want to know more. But it's called Beep. We also recently launched beepit.com, which is a listing in a directory of pretty much every store, in F&B cafe, restaurant across Malaysia that uses Beep delivery. So that just went out this morning.
Nice. I'm very interested and curious to hear about it. And so without further ado, let's get into your presentation.
Sure.
And the topic will be how your retail and F&B business can survive during the COVID-19 MCO. Xin-Ci, stage is yours. Over to you.
Okay, so hi guys. This is the topic of my presentation. So SMEs, as we all already know, are the backbone of every developing economy, right? More than that, though, they're also StoreHub's core customer base. StoreHub serves about over 14,000 retail and F&B stores all across Southeast Asia. And we really, really work very closely with SMEs in the retail and F&B scene. But unfortunately, right, we live in some seriously dire times. Cafes and restaurants are losing at least 80% of their revenue. Retail stores have to shut down. They're not allowed to open during this time. And it's not just here in Malaysia, right? In every major market that we're in, Bangkok, Manila, they're seeing the exact same thing. About 30 to 40% of 300,000 stores that are registered as retail F&B in Malaysia are expected to shut down in the next 6 months. That is almost half of them, more than a third, and almost half of them. And most restaurants, this is just restaurants alone, seem to only have a cash buffer of 16 days. So this came from a study from JP Morgan. But as we asked some of our merchants and all that, this is actually quite true. Retail, for instance, is only about 19 days. And just by the way, if you hear some rumbling sounds in the background, it's because every single day about this time, KL starts to rain like the world is ending. So just sorry if there's some background noise. We're leading into, right, what is the worst health and financial crisis since World War II. This comes from Johns Hopkins, quite a number of research facilities. As COVID goes up, the stock market and all countries all over the world are locking down. The stock market is really being hit really, really, really hard. And to survive, right, because SMEs are so severely impacted by this, SMEs have to learn to operate very, very differently from what they're used to. Now, after we've been around for like 7 years. After 7 years of working with SMEs, one thing we've learned is that going online is a huge challenge for SMEs. They always say no time. What for? Sales are so good. Or, oh, I don't know how and I don't have time to learn how. We launched an e-commerce product 2 years ago, give or take, and helping customers go online has been such a huge challenge for us. And then Someone sent me this meme the other day. Who led the digital transformation of your company? CEO, CTO, COVID-19. Bam, COVID-19. What coronavirus has done, it is that it has led like almost an entire generation of business owners to fast forward and fast track through some kind of digitization of their company. And sorry, just a little fast there. And what does that mean? So if you're a retail store, it means going online and selling your stuff online, whether it's on Lazada or whether it's on your own e-commerce store. That has to be much faster. If you're F&B, it's offering food delivery. If you are in any kind of business, it's suddenly saying that, hey, we can't flyer people anymore. There's no more walk-in customers for discoverability. How do we use social media? How do we use digital marketing to reach more people? Now, in the last 18 days since we launched Beep Delivery, which is our F&B food delivery feature, part of StoreHub, we've actually had the great fortune to work with some really, really amazing business owners. There are a few hundred businesses and stores on Beep right now, and even another few hundred on StoreHub e-commerce. But I've kind of taken this presentation and looked through some of the most successful retail and F&B business owners have been doing. And this is what it looks like, right? And we've taken like the secret sauce from different guys and put it together in this presentation to share with you. If you guys have watched some of my other webinars, some of this might be familiar, but we've also added on new things as we go along. So yeah, just keep going. And number one thing that we've noticed out of all the people who are doing really, really well, it is that they're getting really creative with what they're selling. Packaging and bundling has become crazy important right now because this is the time to make sure that your customers are spending more on you. Some like IDC, for instance, is offering buy 3 free 1. Little People Cafe has these like quarantine starter packs where you can make it home. I think even My Burger Lab has a DIY burgers actually. Maria Steak Cafe, which is one of my favorite steakhouses here in KL, is offering buy 3 free 1 Wagyu ribeye, right? Okay, this is really expensive, like 1,001. But they've also got buy 3 free 1 just at Marbling 7. They've got raw. This is when packaging and bundling so that people spend more and you make the most sense. Also, all of us are living at home. Like even me in my home, there are at least 3 people here. We're not buying food delivery for ourselves anymore in the days of GrabFood or Foodpanda. We're buying to probably feed a family or feed like you and your housemates if you are a young person like me. So bundling and packaging makes it really easy for your customers to just say add to cart, don't need the thing so much, and deal with a delivery cost, right? So that's one. The second thing is just filling in real needs in the community. So Durian King TTDI is one of StoreHub's oldest customers. And recently they pivoted to selling vegetables, from durian to vegetables, on ePetaniMalaysia.com. And ePetani Malaysia literally just works with Cameron Highlands, veggie farmers, and they bring that and they sell it to consumers here in KL. So they launched this, I think last week, so about maybe a week plus after the MCO. And why are they doing this? Because they're filling a real need in the community, right? Like people don't need durians as much as they need carrots or broccoli anymore. And beyond like ePetani, how are some cafes doing, right? So if you sell, I don't know, if you sell like pasta, if you sell ice cream, how can you turn your cafe into a local mart? So a lot of people are looking to buy delivery, but also to buy groceries. And at the moment, shopping for groceries online on Tesco, on HappyFresh, the wait time is like 2 weeks. By the time your groceries get here, MCO is over, you would have starved to death. So what we're seeing is this emergence of hyper-local commerce. When I was a child, when I was really young, I used to have mini markets all over. Right? I grew up in Penang, and there were a lot of these little mini markets. And that's where we used to get most of our groceries. But today we get it from really, really big chain stores. But not all of us can A, go to a chain store really quickly, B, fight with everybody to get like corn or onions or garlic. So how about turning your cafe into a local mart? If someone's buying food from you, they can also add to cart, like, I mean, what Pocock has done is that toilet rolls, Maggie mee, fresh vegetables, if you notice here, right? personal care, dairy, milks, and eggs. And IDC, for instance, IDC is an ice cream store in Damansara Kim. They started selling coffee drip bags, whipping cream, cheese, chocolate, honey, dairy, and like just adding more SKUs to their store so that people will be buying more. If I'm buying ice cream and I'm already paying for delivery, hey, why not add some cheese, butter, honey to the cart as well? It makes it really, really bang for buck, right? And then this is also a great time to support each other. So some of our best merchants, the ones who are doing really well, have started collaborating with their friends and neighbors. They're offering, Whisk is offering ice cream with IDC. Heavenly partnered up with La Marsa, who's about 1 or 2 stores away from them, to offer coffee with their food. Strangers at 47 is selling bread through IDC, and IDC selling ice cream through Strangers at 47. This is a really, really good time to be helping and supporting each other so that you are offering more variety on your menu and you're also getting visibility in someone else's store. And I had this like super crazy idea a couple of days ago actually, that how do we help the hawkers around here? If you've got hawkers nearby and you know that the auntie who sells goreng pisang or the uncle who sells curry puff is just not tech savvy, how can you list them on your food delivery, on your e-commerce, so that you can help them make sales as well? This is really the time to support each other. And once you've figured out how to package and bundle and get really creative with products, you want to look into how are you marketing yourself and your business. Now, if you've never been active on social media, now's the time. According to very credible sources like Google and Facebook, Malaysians are actually spending 50% more time on social media during this MCO. So this graph, for illustration purposes only, so we looked at some of the most successful customers on the Beep delivery platform, and we realized that the one thing they have in common is they're super, super active on social media. Now, they're not big companies, big brands. Like almost all of our, I would say 90% of the businesses we work with are single store, mom and pop, and they don't have big chains, so you don't have big teams behind them, but they're very active on social media. And the ones who are not doing as well, doing only 1 or 2 transactions a day, they're not doing anything on social media at all, right? So we're learning that digital marketing is crazy important during this time. So what can you do? You want to first make sure your existing customers know that you're now online. Broadcast via SMS, WhatsApp, and I used to recommend Facebook Messenger until one of our guys got kind of banned on Facebook Messenger for spamming everybody. So I no longer recommend Facebook Messenger. Send out SMS broadcasts. If you're on StoreHub, you can actually use our back office to do so. If you're not, just look for an SMS provider and send it out. You can use broadcasts on WhatsApp. It's a bit manual, but better than nothing, right? So these are some example messages I've gotten that I have personally received from people who just happen to be our customers, announcing that they are now offering delivery online. So this is Lush Bowl, Maria's Take Cafe. Clearly, I like Maria's a lot, and IDC. Also, we were noticing that people are spending 50% more time on Instagram, and it really is a place to be, not Facebook. So Instagram is like a huge driver of organic traffic compared to Facebook that we've noticed. So what you want to do is just be on Instagram a lot. Update your URL on Instagram. Make sure you're announcing on Instagram and even Facebook, hey, we're now delivering. Take photos of your product. This is the time to post every single day. You're not seeing any walking customers. People are not walking by your shop and saying, I'm going to try this place today. They're instead scrolling through Instagram. And that's when they're like, okay, why don't I try this place today for delivery? Or even tomorrow, right? So this is what you want to be doing. And please go on Insta Stories. If you don't know what Insta Stories are, they're right at the top, those little circles. They refresh every day, every 24 hours. And it's a really, really good way for educating your customers or showcasing your menu. And Instagram posts every day might be hard, but multiple Insta Stories are really easy. And you don't need super, super high quality videos. Your smartphone is all you actually really, really need. So these are some examples from Little People Cafe. They actually did like a little video screen share where they just scroll through their entire menu. VCR teaches people how to order on Beep. So these are different things. And then they save them as highlights. So when someone browses their profile, they can check out their menu. And now, if you're already spending 30 to 35% on delivery ads, if you're already listed on Lazada and Shopee and paying a commission, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Treat it as a marketing platform. Bring them back to you. Give them a reason to buy from you directly. Do they get 10% off? Or maybe like, this is how you help keep us afloat. Give them a bit of a discount. So this is just like a screenshot of one of our customers who really, really smart. They're on GrabFood as well. They put these stickers on all their boxes telling people to order. But we've also got some, I'm part of this F&B group, and we have one of the merchants there. They're saying that what they do is they offer 20% off if you buy direct from them instead of through GrabFood or Lazada or Shopee. So what we've done, we've also created all sorts of social media templates using Canva. Now, these are templates we've created for our merchants, but you can always design really, really simple, use existing Canva templates. If you sign up to canva.com, it's probably one of the easiest tools to use on the internet. You don't need fancy Photoshop skills or fancy graphic designer skills. Just use a template, copy and paste your photos inside, put your URL in, and just announce it to the world, right? So, and here's how you can also use social media to get new customers. Everything before that was how do you get existing customers who are already following you to know that you're online? So how do you get new customers? That's usually the next step. So simple, basic stuff that I'm incredibly surprised that nobody actually does is updating your website on Google My Business. So putting your website there, your phone number there, because people are going to call to ask whether you do delivery. Even claiming your business profile. So Little People Cafe, for instance, has not claimed their business profile. One day I did a random search for F&B and even retail stores across Malaysia. I think I searched 20. 12 businesses had never claimed, 12 out of 20 had never claimed their Google My Business profile. But brand search is one of the clearest search terms on Google. So for instance, brand search would be Little People Cafe. And this is the first thing I see. So having the correct information there helps people who are already looking for you find you. And you can also do like a little hack if you offer coffee, for instance. So what Goodness Greens does is Goodness Greens Cafe, healthy salad and bowls. That is to help rank higher on Google. So if you're Little People Cafe and you sell coffee, Little People Fresh Brewed Coffee, as an example. This is how you kind of game the Google system a little bit. You also want to run very simple Facebook ads. And honestly, you don't need a lot of money to do this. As a user, all I'm seeing now are food delivery ads on Facebook, on Google, on Instagram, but they're so relevant to me. Every single day I'm like, there's only so much cooking I can do. What else can I eat from my favorite restaurants? And I'm discovering restaurants who I used to frequent that I've never been to before through Facebook advertising. How you can keep it really cheap for you is geolocate your ads to like a 5 to 10 km radius from your store and immediately click send to order instead of click to WhatsApp or comment. You want to give them what you call a call to action so they can take action immediately. And it will be even better if you have pre-orders installed. So if you've got pre-orders enabled, you can run ads 24/7 and people can pre-order tomorrow's breakfast, tomorrow's lunch, and so on. So you want to run very simple Facebook ads. And pro tip, right? Facebook owns Instagram. So Facebook ads you run, if you don't like uncheck it, it will automatically appear on Instagram as well. So you will immediately get coverage on both networks. And extra pro tip, if you're going to run Facebook ads, you must remember that people will always be messaging you more on Facebook Messenger. So you're going to want to set up automated replies and FAQs. So you know, we go to some pages and it pops up. Do you deliver, like questions you ask? Fill that up. And if you're a StoreHub user, we have like a whole playbook with exactly what you want to do, and you can reach out to your success manager. If not, just drop a question later. I'll send it to you. You also want to get support from neighborhood Facebook groups. And there are so many neighborhood Facebook groups all over Malaysia. I don't even know why. I discovered this about 2 years ago. Bangsar is something called the Republic of Bangsar that only admits people who live in Bangsar. If you're in TTDI, it's a list of TTDI residence groups. Like if you're Penang, they've got Penang expat, Penang mummies. Join these groups, follow their rules, and actually just like get the local community to support you. If your store is in TTDI, then post it on the TTDI residents group. Many TTDI residents would love to order from the people around them. Bonus tip as well, selling on Facebook Live. Now, I've seen people sell fish on Facebook Live before, but I've seen people sell clothes on Facebook Live, but for the first time ever last Sunday, I saw the guys on Durian King sell vegetables on Facebook Live. And if you've got time, if you've got a good personality, and all you need, honestly, is a smartphone camera, turn it on, learn how to use Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and sell. Their entire Facebook Live video was like 1.5 hours long. I'm not sure how many transactions they made, but from the comments, it looked like a lot, at least 50 that I could count from the comments. And people were just buying vegetables. If you're on Facebook Live, like it goes right to the top of everyone's news feed, and people just enjoy engaging. People are spending more time on social media watching TV. So this is a really good time to do so. Yeah, and those are it for some like really, really simple, easy tips. It's a really, really tough time right now for all businesses, ourselves included. We're a relatively small company. I know Feng said like we raised quite a bit, but compared to a lot of our competitors, we haven't. But we're really, really confident and very committed to sailing through all this together with our SMEs. And you need food delivery for a business, you want e-commerce, you just want to learn more, you can just contact me here or drop me a message on LinkedIn. I do not respond to spammy, rude, or inappropriate messages. So please, yeah. And that's it for my presentation.
All right, Xin, thank you very much for your sharing.
No, thank you.
There's a lot of information in terms of how do you do marketing and how do you actually kind of like optimize sales for your restaurants, right? And yeah. I believe at this point of time, a lot of restaurants were not really kind of like operating, or maybe they had actually had a very, very big hit in terms of their revenues that they are doing. So the question for me is that when you are doing beep, right, how do you look at this business model? And because I initially thought that it's just food delivery, but more that I listened to what you shared, there's a lot also we're talking about hyper local kind of like grocers it's going on. It seems like this is a trend that also a lot of people in the market are trying to do. Last mile logistics companies are trying to do it. We even see like Grab and Food Pandas trying to do it. So can you shed some light in terms of why now this point of time where everybody's starting getting into this thing?
Well, I think the MCO has kind of forced all of us to really, really depend on our community, right? So right now, you can't travel more than 10 km from your home. In a state like Penang, you can go very far. 10 km is really far. But in a state like the Klang Valley, 10 km really, really limits me. And also because you're limited in terms of how much you can go out, you can't even get like grocery delivery online for 2 weeks. It makes more sense to decentralize something as core as groceries and fresh food. Right now, like in the past, everything was centralized to a few really big chain stores. When I say the past, I don't mean 20 years ago, I mean like 5 years ago, right? Really big chain stores, hypermarkets. But now we're looking at it getting distributed back to communities. And frankly, is this a trend that will stay? It's hard to tell. But at the moment, this is how cafes, restaurants can survive. So some of the customers we have, they started selling groceries because they were trying to sell off inventory that they cannot use. So they actually shrunk their menus, for example, to make it more streamlined. And let's say they have like extra, what's it called, like cherry tomatoes. They would pack it in Ziploc bags and sell. It's still fresh and it's better than going to waste, and it frees up cash flow. So there's a lot of ways for this to be very creative. Do I think hyperlocal commerce is here to stay? Probably. It's very challenging for logistics companies to do because it'll be like what it is on GoGet right now, right? I basically copy and paste a grocery list to a Go-Getter. They go and shop. They tell me you have this, I don't have that. And then they pay and I pay them. So that's what it's like with logistics companies. What we're envisioning is more the way you shop for food online, which is you add to cart my pasta, I add to cart my cake, and oh, there's butter. Oh, there's bread. This one's out of stock. Never mind. More of that, like an e-commerce grocery experience. That's what we're seeing our customers already organically do.
Great. So the next question is that you guys are doing cloud POS previously. What's the stats that you see in terms of? I know you had a pretty big customer base in Malaysia as well, but can you shed some light? What is the the restaurants that haven't been digitized yet? You see, like you shared, a lot of people probably don't even have their Google My Business, right?
Yeah.
So how many of them they actually have already ready for this digital transformation, but and how much of them that is not there yet? Also, why it's not happening as fast as we can see?
Well, I can't talk of the past, but I can talk about now, right? In the past was just, I think there was no real need when you've got people walking into your shop, or at least they didn't see it. But right now, what's happening is, to be really honest, even before MCO, the moment COVID came about, you could see sales already dropping across the board, like 30-40%. Usually Chinese New Year peaks and it goes down a bit and comes back up. We didn't see this trend this year. In fact, it was just going down. And I spoke to one of our merchants the day COVID was declared a pandemic, their sales dropped 40% immediately. And the moment MCO was announced, that graph just nosedived down to almost zero. So how are a lot of retail F&B customers doing? Not so well, to be very honest with you. A majority of them are still not on food delivery. So some of them are on GrabFood or Foodpanda, which is good for them. But 35% taken by marketplaces is very, very expensive, and that's really impacting their margins right now. There are a segment of customers who are hoping for MCO to end. And therefore, they're not even going online. They're just closing shop until MCO ends. But I really, really urge you guys to reconsider if you're in that category, right? Because MCO is not going to end anytime soon. If the government just, and this is my hypothesis, we've already been in here for like, 3 weeks now? Yeah, 3 weeks. And we're entering our last week of this. And while the curve seems like it's flatter, it has not gone down. In fact, we have 8,000 tests left to process. 8,000. And they're testing more and more people every day. It wouldn't make sense for the government to let us all go back to life as per usual on April 14th. My prediction is that we will be in here, like in quarantine, until at least the end of the month. And even when they release us, they might, for instance, remove the enhanced MCO guidelines, which is 10 km, but they will still restrict business, I predict. If we look at what's happening in China, now that China has opened up for business again, people are allowed to go out, the retail scene has not bounced back. People are afraid to go out. Being confined, like sitting at home every day for so long, hearing like news about coronavirus, being afraid to go out, that's going to impact our mindset. That's going to impact the way the world is. And once we open up again, I don't know any one of my friends who's willing to go for a massage, right? It's a little scary. I mean, I would go for a facial, but then, facial guys like wear masks and wear goggles already anyway. They're practically surgeons. But would we go outside to eat? Would we sit in crowded places? I actually don't think so. And we might miss all of this, but the fear of COVID is still there. They're not going to find a vaccine for 18 months. So this is here to stay. And as a result, if you're thinking, hey, after MCO, all this is going to be over, it's not. It's going to change the entire nation, the entire world, the way we view going out and eating out. And I really, really genuinely think if you are a retail store that's not yet offering e-commerce, if you're an F&B store that's not yet offering food delivery, no matter what platform you use, this is really the time to go, unless you want your business to shut down.
So is for F&B business, is food delivery the only way to go moving forward?
Well, yeah. I generally cannot imagine any other way, unless you totally change your shop to sell something else, where you can be a restaurant and still survive without food delivery. So one of our customers, Trey Cafe in Hatamas, I was talking to him recently, and he said that he had refused to offer food delivery for the last 5 years, ever since food delivery became very popular here, because he feels like there's a beauty in a restaurant dining experience. And I mean, before this, I think we all had the luxury to agree with that. But he was one of the first customers to get on food delivery because he realized if he doesn't, he's just not, that's it. He might as well close shop forever. Because you're paying rent, right? The government has not mandated a subsidy on rent. So your landlord, it's up to your landlord if they're so kind as to give you a rental subsidy. Paying rent, you're paying overhead costs for your staff, which you can't really fire. You have inventory that you need to sell off. What are you gonna do really? Like not operate, not do food delivery, close down for a bit? If you've got a lot of cash behind you, sure. But if you don't, then I don't see other options.
Right. So, and I think that's kind of like the reason why you guys launched the BIP delivery. The thing that we can see right now is that, you know, as you said, and it's also kind of like the sentiment that we've gotten from also a lot of the speakers and also entrepreneurs that we're talking with, is that they're seeing at least 6 to 12 months times for the recovery to come back, for the consumer confidence to actually come back. So people would spend again, they will go out again, and they will start going to all these restaurants, especially the high-end restaurants and stuff, to actually do gatherings and stuff. So how is it going to affect StoreHub's business? And because if the retails are not going to last, right, definitely it's going to impact your business. Like, what's your plan moving forward?
Plan is this. Our plan is e-commerce and food delivery. I mean, you're right. I mean, who cares about post now, right? Who cares about point of sale system? Nobody cares. This is the future, the near future and the medium term future. It will take 6 to 12 months to recover, because even if people are not afraid of catching coronavirus, what's happening now is that people are losing their jobs. So companies everywhere are cutting salaries, laying off people. The government yesterday said, please be okay, like please consider cutting salaries instead of laying off people. If the prime minister said that, that means it's really bad. If Mahathir came out to say this is time to tighten the belt because your companies have to cut your salaries, that means it's really dire. And it also means that there'll be less money floating around the market. People will be less willing to spend. So even if you're not scared of coronavirus, the sentiment is this. Now, our plan is to continue to enable the digitization of all these businesses so that we can, together with them, we can survive this entire season. I do believe we're moving into a very different era, and the world as we knew it before is no longer the same. And we want to be able to enable as many of these stores as possible to continue to operate, even during this season and even after. So that's our plan. Like I'd like to say we have a very long-term plan for this. No, we don't. We're playing by ear, seeing how it goes, and responding to what the market needs right now.
Great. So if there's any advice that you would give to the F&B business owners out there sitting in front of our screens, listening to this session right now, what would be the advice that you will be giving to them?
Well, if you're not already offering food delivery, you should. If you're already offering food delivery, time to learn some very, very basic, simple digital marketing to get the word out there. Yeah, we're here for you. If you guys need any help at any time, like you're looking for a platform or just want to explore, or you want to go and like copy what some of our more successful merchants have been doing, go stalk them. At the end of the day, like the SME industry accounts for F&B and retail, I think accounts for about 25% of the entire SME industry, and 30%, I think. And then if you guys collapse, like that doesn't help anybody. So hang in there. This is really, really tough, but we'll get through it.
How does someone, if I'm a retail owner, if I run an F&B store right now, and I heard about BIP, how can I get on board?
There are a few ways, but the most popular way is you go to StoreHub.com. We built BIP actually in 48 hours. So we didn't really have time to update our website. So instead, it's just like a pop-up. Just click on the pop-up and we'll get back to you. Our sales team works like business consultant team works, I think, all the time. I think if it's during office hours, we'll get back to you in like 2 to 5 minutes. Aside from that, so yeah, that's the best way, I would say. Head to our website.
Do you charge anything for getting on board and using the service?
We do have a monthly subscription charge for 249. So for 249 ringgit and 2% transaction fee, excluding standard payment gateway charges that we have very little control over. For those two things will allow you to immediately get on Beep delivery. I think some of our merchants have got on in like a single day, 24 to 48 hours, they have launched the store. So you can definitely do that. 249 also gives you, that package also gives you access to our SMS tool, loyalty program, so you can offer cashback. It gives you access to, well, no longer relevant right now, but point of sale if you really wanted to use it, reporting, and so on. And we're actually launching a lot of new features in the next few days. I think just today, beepit.com went live to help our merchants, our restaurants get discovered. It's like a whole directory of it. So we'll be driving a lot of partner type promotions to beepit.com to help restaurants and cafes get more exposure during this time, because we noticed that many of them really struggle with that.
Well, one last question. So if I'm not in one of these big cities like KL, Penang, JB, that on-demand deliveries are always available, right? How do I do all this delivery parts other than being on Foodpanda? And do you encourage to do like pickup, or is there any solutions that StoreHub's working with your partners or rolling across Malaysia?
So unfortunately, the limitation for this exists more from the fact that there aren't any delivery providers in cities outside of like KL, JB, and Penang, and even JB and Penang is very limited. But we do have customers in Kota Kinabalu, in Terengganu, in some in JB as well. What they do instead is that they get their guys to go and deliver a motorbike. So with Beep Delivery, you don't have to use our logistics network. You can actually do your own delivery. This is just a way to manage orders, and you can just offer your own delivery. That's really what I advise. You can get people to do it with pickup. You can get your wait staff who no longer have the wait tables get on a motorbike.
All right. So I think that's much about it. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing during this session. We have Xin-Ci, the CMO of StoreHub, how your retail or F&B business can survive during the COVID-19 MCO. Thank you very much, Xin.
No, thank you so much, Feng. Really, really appreciate it.